Hello Prep 3. Today we are going to talk about the cell division, and this is lesson 1 in unit 4, which is talking about reproduction. Okay? Firstly, before we talk about the cell division, we must know that there are two types of cells. Number 1, somatic cell, and number 2, reproductive cell. The examples of somatic cell, like the cells of liver, skin, and any cell inside your body except reproductive cell. Okay, this is in animal. And in plant, somatic cell, like the cell in leaves, roots, and stem. Number 2, reproductive cell, and the examples of reproductive cell such as the cell of reproductive organ in male and female, testes in male and ovary in female. This is the cell of reproductive cell. And the reproductive cell in the plant such as the cell of sperm or the cell of ovary. Okay, so we knew that there are two types of cells, which are somatic cell and reproductive cell. In this lesson, we will know how the cell divides into more than one cell. To know that, we must know the structure that is found inside the cell and each responsible for cell division. We knew from the previous year in the science curriculum that each cell consists of contains a nucleus, and each nucleus contains body inside it called chromosome. And the chromosome is the body that is responsible for cell division. So what is the chromosome and what is the structure of chromosome? That we will know it now. Number 1, the structure of chromosome. As in this picture, you can see the structure of chromosome. Sure, this is a magnified chromosome. Okay, we can see chromosome by our naked eyes. We must see it under microscope. So this is magnified chromosome. The structure of chromosome, we have two types of structure here, general structure and chemical structure. Number 1, general structure, the structure that I can see it. You can describe the chromosome as you see it. When you look at the figure, you can see the chromosome consists of two thread bodies, each one called chromatid. It looks like thread bodies. It looks like thread bodies. Consists of two parts, each part called chromatid. These two chromatids are connecting together at point called centromere. And this is general structure. The chemical structure, we describe the chromosome chemically, and we found that each chromatid consists of protein and genetic material, which is called DNA. Okay, so this is the structure of chromosome, general structure and chemical structure, and the chromosome responsible for cell division. The number of chromosomes is constant among the members in the same species. For example, the number of chromosomes in the human body is 46. The number of chromosomes in human body is 46. So if we know that there is a nucleus contains 46 chromosomes, so we will know that this nucleus for human body. This nucleus for human body. Okay? But the number of chromosomes differs from one species to another. For example, the number of chromosomes in rabbit is 44 chromosomes. So if we know that the number of chromosomes is 44, so we will know that this nucleus for rabbit, and so on. Okay, so by knowing the number of chromosomes, we can determine the type of species. By knowing the number of chromosomes, we can determine the type of species, and this is the second importance of chromosome. We said that the first importance of chromosome, number one, it's responsible for cell division. Responsible for cell division. Number two, by knowing the number of chromosomes, I can determine the type of species. I can determine the type of species. Okay? So these are the importance of chromosome. Number one, it represents the genetic material. Like we said in the chemical structure, that it contains genetic material which is called DNA. Number B, we can identify the type of species by knowing the number of chromosomes. Number C, they have the main role in cell division. And these are the importance of chromosomes. Okay. Now we will talk about the cell division and the mechanism that help the cell to divide into more one cells. How can the cell divide into more than one cell? We will see it now. Number one, the cell division aim to growth and reproduction. Why? Why we need to make a cell division? For two things. Number one, for growing. We need to divide the cell for growing up. Or for reproduction, to produce a new individual. So, to help in growing up, you must make cell division. For sure, the number of cells inside your body differs from inside your body when you grow up. After growing, the number of cells increase. How can the number of cells increase inside your body? The cell must be divided to more than one cell and producing new cells inside your body to make your bone increase, to make your bone become bigger, to make you grow up. So this is for growth. Or for reproduction, we need cell division to produce a new individual. Okay? We have two types of cell division here. We have two types of cell division. Number one, mitotic, and I can call it mitosis. And number two, meiotic, and I can call it meiosis. So we have two types here of cell division, which are mitotic or mitosis and meiotic or meiosis. In this part, we will talk about mitotic division only. Mitotic division, I can call it the mitotic division with indirect cell division. With indirect cell division. Okay? Firstly, what's meant by mitotic division? Pay attention. Mitotic division takes place in somatic cell only. So now, which type of cell will divide into more than one cell? Yeah, somatic cell. Only. Mitotic division takes place in somatic cell only, by which each cell divided into two new cells. Each cell divided into two new cells which contains diploid number of chromosome, and diploid number of chromosome here means complete number of chromosome. By meaning, if I start with a cell contains 46 chromosome, I will end with two cells, each one contains 46 chromosome. This is called the diploid number of chromosome. This is called diploid number of chromosome. The diploid number of chromosome is the opposite of haploid number of chromosome. Haploid number of chromosome means the half number of chromosome. If I start with 46 chromosome, I end with 23 chromosomes. Okay, so mitotic cell division, it occurs in somatic cell, by which each cell divided into 2 new cells. Each new cell contains diploid number of chromosome. The importance of mitotic division. The importance of mitotic division. Mitotic division help to compensate the damaged cell. If I have a damaged cell, for example in your skin cell, the mitotic division help to compensate this damaged part by cell division. Each cell divided into 2 new cells and compensate the damaged part. Compensate the damaged part. Okay. Number 2, completing the asexual reproduction. And we talk about asexual reproduction in the previous video. So you must know what's meant by asexual reproduction. Mitotic division help to complete the asexual reproduction. Here we don't know male and female. Asexual reproduction takes place only or needs only one living organism. Number 3, help in growing. So the importance of mitotic division again. Number 1, help to compensate or in compensation the damaged cell. Number 2, complete asexual reproduction. Number 3, help in growing. Help in growing your body. When you are baby, you will grow up by help of mitotic division. Help in growing the plant to produce stem and leaves and roots. Okay, so we use mitotic division to help in growing and to complete asexual reproduction and to compensate the damaged cell. Here we don't produce a new individual. Pay attention. Here we don't produce a new individual. We just make a cell division for growing up. Okay? Some cells are not divided. Pay attention. This is a very important note. Some cells are not divided at all, such as neural, which is nerve cell, and red blood cells. These cells inside your body not divided at all. Okay? Okay. Let's go to know the mechanism of mitotic division. Let's go to know the mechanism of mitotic division. To make a mitotic division, to produce two new cells, we must pass by many phases. Okay? We must pass by many phases. Number 1, interphase. The cell passes by interphase before entering in mitotic division to prepare the cell for cell division. To prepare the cell for cell division. What happens in interphase? What happens in interphase? We can see in this figure, the cell prepares itself during interphase before entering mitotic division, by which there are 2 processes happens. Number 1, occurrence of some biological process. And number 2, and this is very important, duplicating the amount of DNA. Why? Pay attention. We said in mitotic division, we start with somatic cell, and the somatic cell divided into 2 new cells. Each one contains diploid number of chromosomes. So here there is no change in number of chromosomes. If I start with 46 chromosomes, I end with 2 cells. Each cell contains 46 chromosomes. So how can we obtain 2 new cells with diploid number of chromosomes? We must firstly duplicating the amount of DNA to produce 2 new cells. Each one contains diploid number of chromosomes, complete number of chromosomes. Okay? So if I ask you, give reason, the cell must enter the interface or passes by interface before mitotic division. The answer will be to prepare the cell for cell division, an occurrence of some biological processes, and duplicating the amount of DNA. By these processes, we prepare the cell before entering the mitotic cell division. Okay, let's go to know the phases of the mitotic cell division. The phases of mitotic cell division. Before entering the phases of mitotic cell division, we must know a very important note. The chromosome before cell division in a form of chromatid. The chromosome before the cell division in a form of chromatid, but during cell division, it will be a chromosome, a complete chromosome, like in this figure. Okay. Number 1, mitotic or mitosis, which is called indirect cell division, passes by many phases. And these are phases of mitotic division. We have 4 phases of mitotic division. Number 1, prophase. Number 2, metaphase. Number 3, anaphase. Number 4, telophase. Again, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. And we will see what happens in each phase. Number 1, prophase. After preparing the cell in interface, the cell enters the mitotic division and passes by the first phase, which is called prophase. What happens in the prophase? This is the nucleus here. The prophase takes place in 2 parts. At the beginning of prophase, in left figure A, this is the beginning of prophase. You can see that chromatin reticulum, which is found in interphase, will condense and form, pay attention, form long, thin, double-strength chromosome. Double-strength chromosome means the chromosome now consists of 2 chromatids. We said that the structure of chromosome before cell division will be 1 chromatid. During the prophase, during the cell division, it will be 2 chromatids. And this is called double-strength chromosome. Okay? So at the beginning of prophase, what happens to the cell? What happens to the nucleus? The chromatin reticulum, which is found in interphase, will condense. What happened after condensing of chromatin reticulum? Formation of long, thin, double-strength chromosome. Long, thin, double-strength chromosome. This is at the beginning of prophase in figure A. Please pay attention and look at figure B. What is the difference here? Yeah, we can see many things different from figure A. Number 1, what are the disappeared parts here? Yeah, nucleolus disappear and nuclear membrane disappear. Yeah, nucleolus disappear and nuclear membrane disappear. This is the end of prophase. A network of filamentous fiber called spindle fiber. Can you see these fibers? Can you see these strings that are forms? Can you see it? Yeah, we will see a network of filamentous fiber called the spindle fiber is formed. Extend between the two poles of the cell. Extend between the two poles of the cell. Each chromosome connected with one spindle fiber. Each chromosome connects with one spindle fiber. So this is prophase, beginning of prophase and the ending of prophase. Okay, let's go to know what happens in the next phase, which is called metaphase. It's so easy. What happens to the chromosome now? Please look for 1 second and see what happens to the chromosome. Yeah, they are arranged. They are arranged at the cell equator. They are arranged at the cell equator. So this is called metaphase, and this is so easy phase. What happens in metaphase again? The chromosomes are arranged at the cell equator. Are arranged at the cell equator. Okay, the next phase is called anaphase. The next phase is called anaphase. Now, what happens to the chromosome? Yeah, they change to be chromatid only. They change to be chromatid only. So the chromosome divided lengthwise, the chromosome divided lengthwise into two halves. Divided lengthwise into two halves. Divided from which part? Divided from centromere. So each chromosome divided lengthwise into chromatids. Now there are two groups of chromatids. Chromatids. After division of chromosomes in chromatids or two chromatids, the spindle fiber starts to shrink. And each group of chromatid migrates toward the pole of the cell, north pole of the cell and south pole of the cell, as you see in the figure of anaphase, producing of two groups of chromatid. Here chromatid, not chromosome. Each group migrate toward the pole of the cell, north pole and south pole. Okay, the last phase is called telophase. Pay attention. The telophase is called adverse phase. Why? Because the operation or the processes that takes place in telophase is the opposite to prophase. Can you remember what happens at the end of prophase? At the end of prophase, nucleolus and nuclear membrane disappear. Now what happens in telophase? It is the adverse phase, the opposite of prophase. So the nucleolus and nuclear membrane start to form again. So what happens in telophase? Formation of nucleolus and nuclear membrane. And finally producing two new cells. Each cell contains diploid number of chromosomes. So these are the phases by which the mitotic division takes place. And mitotic division must passes by 4 phases, which are prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. You must know them by this order. You can't make a disturbance in their order. Okay? Number 1, prophase. Number 2, metaphase. Number 3, anaphase and telophase. Finally, to produce 2 new cells, each one contains diploid number of chromosomes. Pay attention. Before mitotic cell division, the cell must The cell must pass by interphase. The cell must pass by interphase to prepare the cell before cell division by occurrence of some biological operation and duplicating of the amount of DNA. So finally, I can easily define the mitotic division, by which it is a type of division that takes place through a somatic cell to divide the cell into two new cells. Each one contains diploid number of chromosomes. Thank you, Prep 3. This is a part of mitotic division or mitosis division. Okay? In the next video, we will discuss together the other part, the second part of cell division, which is meiosis or meiotic division. Thank you and goodbye.